Welcome to GTI TV. With me today, we have my daughter, Katherine, and Kevin McCaffrey. We're going to be discussing, we got together today just to kind of discuss an incident that happened, a month ago, right?
No, originally in August.
Yeah.
Originally in August, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you for that correction.
Recognition for about a month.
Right, correct, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize. And with that, we discovered what kind of wonderful things you've done in your life and your connection with your family and whatnot. So Kevin has been asked to come on and kind of tell the story with my daughter Katherine, and just kind of share in some of the things that you've been doing throughout your life, connecting it to why you've been, you're coming on with as a consultant advisor for GTI and all the initiatives that we're working on, and it's kind of sharing what it is that you've done with your life to kind of put you in this position to be able to be helpful in consulting and advising in GTI. So tell us about a little bit of your history, if you don't mind.
Sure. I don't know how far back you went, but I'm Connecticut born and raised. I grew up in Unionville, which is a village of Farmington, Connecticut. Went through all the school system there. Farmington High School. My father was an art teacher in the school system. My mother was a nurse at Hartford Hospital on private duty. Grew up with 4 siblings, all girls. So I like to think I know the woman's perspective on things. Burdened with that, perhaps. Went to Farmington High School, went to University of Massachusetts. The coaching staff there had an interest in my running. I became a runner my sophomore year because someone was persistent to get me running. And was on the state championship cross-country team at Farmington High School. Went on to UMass, and then found my way to teaching. There were many jobs after college, but became sort of a corporate trainer. I was at the Hartford Current for a spell. I was at People's Bank for a spell. I was at Aetna for a while, Connecticut Mutual, and then my last stint for 12 years was at Connecticut Children's Medical Center in Hartford. Retired in November.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm enjoying my retirement. So I will say that fitness since cross country has been a part of my life. When my legs didn't cooperate anymore, I moved to swimming. So I've been doing swimming for like 20 years as my primary, which has something to do with my relationship with Katherine.
Yes.
Being a lifeguard, saving me at the pool in
Yep.
Middlesex. Why? I've enjoyed my career, enjoyed the fitness that has come with it and been part of who I am, and a lot of different interests along the way, like theater and community theater,
Yeah,
other ways to get involved.
And it goes back to discipline, persistence, accountability, and grit, and how it's applied to everything in your life, right? So tell us a little bit about the marathon that you you involved with, because that's a fascinating story.
Yeah, so I was a shorter distance guy, and then I have a friend who has been running the Colchester Half Marathon in February for a long time, so I decided, what the heck, I'd jump into that. And I did really well, much better than I thought I would because I was shorter distance, but I loved not having to go all out to pace it, and I said, wow, this feels right.
Yeah.
And then I started doing more running and got involved with the Hartford Track Club.
Yep.
And there's a circuit, many people would know this, but there's track clubs in Connecticut, running clubs, and they have a circuit of races of every distance. They don't do a marathon, but any other distance they do. And you get points, and then you get little money, not much money for that. So I ended up captaining the Hartford Track Club.
No way.
And that was fun in that year that we did that. But so here I am running, and I had a goal to break 2:30 in the marathon, and I was training harder. I did the New Haven 20K, 12.3 miles, in September. The marathon I was going to try to break 2:30 and was Hartford Marathon in October, and I beat my time in the New Haven 20K because I was doing it every year by a minute and a half, which is an outstanding gain, right? And I had someone who was an All-American who I beat for the first time that day said to me, "What are you training for?" And I said, "Well, the Hartford Marathon." He said, "Why?" I said, "What do you mean, why?" He said, "You got to get in a more competitive race. You're not that far from achieving the standard that would get you invited to the Olympic trials.
That's incredible.
And this is 1995, so the Olympic trials in the Olympics would be 1996. And I wasn't even thinking that way at all. I just wanted to keep.
That's incredible.
It was just your natural willingness to kind of engage and be disciplined, persistent, and just overcome all the things that you need to do to be a successful runner.
Right.
And you got back into competitive running, and you just naturally, because you are the person you are, and embraced all that.
Yeah, and just the importance of setting a goal.
Yes.
You know, and I had to readjust my goal, because going from 2:30 marathon training to 2:22 is a big difference. And so I just went from 60 to 65 miles a week to 80, 85 miles a week.
Oh my gosh.
I said, this has to be outrageous. And I went outrageous with my training. I was doing a single loop with the Hartford Track Club at the West Hartford Reservoir on Thursday nights. I was doing a double loop, and not only doing a double loop, but running them hard. And then I was doing repeat miles on the track. I got up to 20 repeat miles with a 90-second rest. And you know, people were helping me, and I said, I've got to psychologically run over the distance.
Yes.
So I ran from where I live in Marlboro to where I grew up in Unionville, 34 miles.
Yeah.
Just to say, psychologically, I knew I could do much more than 26.
Yeah.
So I did it
And it's just not your
That's
running
fascinating.
that you're paying attention to, your nutrition, and just the way you sleep and whatnot. So you're doing this when you didn't have maybe a watch or whatnot, right?
Right. Had none of that. The other thing, my wife, very interesting person, is into so many different things, but she was into nutrition and performance, and she had this little vitamin cocktail that I would start taking right before every race. And you know, how much did that help me? Well, I was running better, so I've got to give her credit for that. So yeah, that was very helpful as well.
And you clearly are taking care of yourself and whatnot, and that just makes you feel better. So now that you're retired, it really helps you when you have all your faculties and everything's going well. And then we're going to get into that incident at the pool that you had, that you're still working out and doing all that. So why don't you describe what happened at the pool and why you're here today, how we met?
Right, how we're connected, well, I should say I'm going to tell you what others have told me, because I don't remember a thing. So swimming has been my fitness of choice for 20 years. In the summers, I'm swimming in Lake Terramungus in Marlboro, where I live. But when it's not warm, you need another avenue, so it's been the Ys. I used to work in Hartford, and then COVID hit. I was working from home in Marlboro, and I had a choice of Ys between Hartford, State House Square Y, or Middletown. Middletown's just the same miles, but much prettier drive coming into Middletown, so I was at Middlesex Y. I'd go there 4 or 5 times a week. I was doing a mile and a half swim. And so all of a sudden, I should say, I wake up in the hospital. So then it's backtracking, what happened to me. So I apparently had finished my swim, was feeling weird, put my arm on the ropes, looking to support myself. Lifeguard noticed, said, that's odd, came over and asked me, are you feeling okay? And I said no. So I must have known something was going on. And then they started asking me some questions. And the funny part of this, because I didn't know until recently that they asked me questions, I was telling them my name, my locker. So, I mean, why was I telling my locker? I must have known something might be up, that you would need to know where my locker is. And as Katherine will tell you, I gave the wrong locker number, so that didn't help. So then I started to lose it, and I kind of passed out. And the good news is, normally there aren't 4 lifeguards at the Y at the same time. 2 lifeguards were doing their swims off duty. Heather, the lifeguard, saw me first. Katherine was swimming laps in the lane next to me. She realized that something was up because she saw Heather in the pool, and said, why is Heather in the pool, the lifeguard? And realized that I was having trouble. And so they put me on a platform, plastic, whatever you call it.
We extricated you from the water.
Right, got me out of there, started administering CPR, realized I didn't have a pulse, started Katherine, I learned later, I thought they rotated this, but Katherine stayed with it. did all of the CPR, and there's a debate on how long it took the paramedics to get there. The official record is it took them 8 minutes to get there. How much more CPR was done after that?
And
because
I
the
think
paramedics stood it. Yeah.
after talking to people, I think what that confusion was it was originally sent to Middlesex, and then they couldn't respond, and so then it was sent to Hunter's, and so from the time that Hunter's ambulance got the call, it had been 8 minutes,
Okay.
but the total duration of CPR was 16 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
So.
Okay.
And that goes back to the discipline, persistence, accountability, and grit the lifeguards had, right? Because they could have easily been distracted.
Yeah, and we had recognition. When you said a month ago, that was the recognition.
Right.
And I had a lot to say, and one of them was, I made the comment, was God with me that day? Who knows, right? But I do know who was with me. 4 very well trained, disciplined, reactive. Because if Heather even, I would have excused them for taking mental vacation when most of the time when you're lifeguarding, nothing happens, right?
Right.
And for all 4 of them, this is the first time they had to jump into emergency care like this. So this was probably scary for all of them not having done it, but well trained to do it, practices to do it. So whatever the protocol is to get them ready, it works.
In the case of Katherine,
yeah.
Training and going through that training so recently gave you
Yeah.
the ability to really stick with it.
Yeah.
I mean, tell about that.
Well, because I had only been trained a month and a half prior to your incident. And so it was serendipitous. My dad would joke that me working at the Y was a hobby, me doing lifeguarding and stuff, because I loved swimming and all of that. So for me to get involved and decide to not needing to work there or anything, become a lifeguard, and then you and I had met prior to, about a week prior to.
Right.
And
you were 2 weeks on at that point when I
Yes.
met you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then.
But I should say something good about you, Katherine. So I would call the 4 lifeguards. 1 is very outgoing, and 3 are very reserved. And guess which one is very outgoing? And so it was because she was outgoing that I was standing waiting for Elaine, and she engaged with me in her 2nd week on the job, and we just started talking.
Yeah.
Normally, you wouldn't know the lifeguards. They're in the chair. You don't come up to them and say, "Hi, my name's Kevin. I'm going to swim today." You just dive in and swim.
Yeah.
And they're up there, and you're not looking at them really. You're doing your swim. You get a glance at them. So I wouldn't recognize any of them except Katherine because I had made a connection with her.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's, you naturally just do that, but that's kind of valuable, and that's something you really focus on, is trying to make personal connections
Yeah.
with everybody you meet and contact with.
I will say, and not just because you're here, but a lot of that has to do with you being intentional, and Mom too. Like, both of you in your work are very intentional. I mean, my mom is the kind of person where if one of her employees' sisters is having a baby, she needs to get them a baby present, and she makes brownies for her team and banana breads and all of this stuff, and it's all about that personal touch and knowing, and you obviously starting this entire initiative for that whole purpose, to bring people together. And so, I mean, thank you very much for the kind words, but I think that's a huge testament to you and Mom. And I think it's also kind of cool hearing a little bit before we started filming or rolling about you and your daughter and your relationship, and how there were a lot of similarities I felt between Dad and I and you and your daughter.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, and just that relationship and how special that can be.
Right.
And how important it is to kind of bring the connections to people and kind of share our story.
Yeah.
And bring more connections with families and with communities, and bringing people together to have a face-to-face, because there's so much more that can be done with.
Oh yeah, it's amazing to me, because in my role as sort of a corporate trainer is I'll do a lot of training classes and we'll do icebreakers, and a lot of the icebreakers have to get to know each other as people, right? And it's amazing when you do that, what people have done and what their interests are, and you start making connections, right? But everybody has an interesting story to tell, and different passions and things that they've explored.
Yeah.
And so it's fascinating to me, the route people take in their lives and what draws them to different things.
It reminds me of a wonderful life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we all have so much to give, and it's so important. When you asked me about, okay, what do we have this show about? I said, anything you want.
Right.
Because there's so many learning techniques and ways in which people kind of engage each other, whether it be through social media or these connections. And we're just trying to build back this, because you and I are of the age that That's how we got to know
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
We
Well,
barely had telephones.
And I'll use that It's a Wonderful Life theme because when I was going to speak, I asked, can I speak at the recognition? And I think they said, of course, because you're sort of the subject
Right.
of some of what
Right.
happened. And I wanted to really give them a sense of the impact that they had. Clearly, they understood they saved my life. But I rattled off this many nieces I have, you know, my siblings,
Yep.
you know, my kids, my wife, my aunts and uncles, you know. I mean, you're talking about that huge group of people losing somebody in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the impact of that and the impact any one person, It's a Wonderful Life, has on, you know, the collective
Right.
and people that you've touched.
And everybody,
Yeah.
everybody impacts so many people that they don't even know. I mean, you just connected with Katherine
Yeah.
Yeah.
at the pool, and that helped her be motivated to do that. When she came home after that, she was really rattled.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
And you know, just had that experience, but you both naturally you want to help people.
Yeah.
And that's why we built this GTI Grow Together initiative, is to show what connections can do.
Right.
And I
It's
think
not-
it just goes to show that everyone has a story to tell, you know? And I also think it's interesting, you earlier were talking about marathoning and you're almost at the Olympic, you know, qualifications and all of that stuff, and you had no idea in your head. And just as you were like, well, what are we going to talk about? I don't really have anything to talk about. And here you are rattling off all of these fascinating things even before we start filming. And it's just so interesting how we see ourselves so differently because that's your norm.
Yeah.
You know, you pushing yourself to, I was about to say swim, to run a 2:30 marathon, that was just normal to you. So someone then pointing out the perspective of, this is like the best in the world, you're like, well, no, that's just me. That's just how I operate, you know? So
Yeah, and I guess in anything you measure yourself on, there's always going to be some people in front of you. And
Yeah.
that's what you're focused on. You're not
Yes.
talking
Yeah.
about people behind you that never achieved at that level. It's always
And
what's in
Right.
front of you.
Don't you think most people self-limit themselves? They don't set goals to go beyond, and then they set that target as a top person, but they can go further. It's amazing what we're able to accomplish
Yeah.
if we don't set limits on ourselves.
Yeah, and I'm reminded, if you read Malcolm Gladwell, one of the,
yeah.
what was he, Outliers.
Yeah.
And one of the things he said in there is they've done a lot of research on it. If you can put 10,000 hours into anything,
yes.
you'll become an expert.
Correct.
And so you say to yourself, oh, come on, that can't be true. I'm not good at math, or I can't run, or I can't do this. But, well, after 10,000 hours, you know,
Intentional
you're going to,
10,000
right,
hours.
Right.
So you're trying to improve, you're setting goals, you're surpassing those goals,
Right.
and you measure everything. That's what everything is now. And,
Yeah.
and companies and organizations are getting better and better at determining those goals, KPIs or whatever you
Yeah.
want to call them. And then you need to meet or exceed them, or you could get let go from the company or get cut from a
Right.
athletic team or what have you.
Right.
You have to continually look to improve.
Yeah.
And you just lock in that, you know, process improvement, and you lock in and you continue to meet, surpass goals, and it helps you in everything that you do. So it's important. I know it's difficult. It's difficult to be on time, and you know, to be in a position that you can kind of accomplish. We have so many distractions, many more than when you and I grew up, right? I mean, there's social media, there's, you know, all the different, you know, just information that we're constantly getting thrown at us.
Yeah.
You know, just look at the weather. It used to be, I make the comment, I don't remember this many hurricanes throughout the world, you know, all these issues that go on. I mean, but I think the reason we know them because we're aware of them.
Right.
They broadcast it. You know, we have wars that go on, and we're literally can see the wars as they're going on.
Yeah, and I want to touch something you said about goals and intentional, and drawing from my career again. So being a leadership development consultant in companies, I got exposed to a lot of theory, concepts, and everything else. And one of the things I read was about people either lead a fear-based life or a goal-based life, right?
Ooh.
So I just read all this. I was at a certification program in Naples, Florida, and I had forgotten it was my wife's birthday. And it was lunch break. I go, oh my God, it's my wife's birthday, right? So I went and I got, you know, flower service to deliver flowers to her and everything else. And the topic at lunch was whether my actions were fear-based or goal-based.
I love that.
So I came back from getting my own lunch, you know, and getting the florist, And they said, so we all agreed it was fear-based. You know, like how is my wife
Yeah.
going to react if I forgot her birthday versus this is a goal to give her a nice gift on her birthday, you know. And so I do see people that I'm close to, some who are absolutely leading a goal-based life,
Right.
and some who are leading a fear-based life.
And-
So it's a
and-
lot of avoidance
That's
of
such a
things.
simplistic way
And that's
to
what-
put
yeah.
that. I love that.
It is. It's really good. And I want to expand on that a little bit. So when you're building leaders, I mean, everybody, in my opinion, can be a leader, and everybody is a leader,
Yes.
either with their family or
Right.
anything. But
Right.
just build leaders to build other leaders,
Yep.
right? I mean, and that's the goal, to make this, have people realize they are leaders. They're leaders.
Oh,
at
and-
least they're leaders
yeah.
of their own life,
Yeah.
and get them to
yeah.
operate that way.
And and the way absolutely, Brad, and the way we look for leaders, because we'd much rather in an organization grow our own leaders than keep hiring from outside.
Yes.
Because that stunts people in their growth. And I know before we started a conversation of anywhere you are, what's the ceiling for me? And if it's
Right.
very small, I want to keep going, maybe I need to leave, right? Maybe I need to go somewhere else.
And build a culture within an organization to help facilitate that,
Right.
and to help people grow. And
Right, and
Especially
sometimes
now.
it's confidence. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what you find out, like if someone you see is usually, if people are very outgoing, you know who they are. If they're quiet, you don't. So it's harder to find leadership in them because they're not showing much.
Right.
But some of our best leaders are introverts. Right?
Yes.
Because steady Eddie introverts. But the idea for leadership is to ask yourself, what are you doing outside of work?
Yeah.
Oh, you lead a church group.
Exactly.
Oh, you're leading a running group.
Yep.
Oh, you're leading your crafting circle.
Yes.
You know?
Right.
So guess what? There's some leadership there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
funny. So I, during COVID, took a project management course and I got certified and all that. And I remember at the very beginning, the instructor went over and was like, have any of you guys, had to, discuss with a team and lead a conversation or have multiple tasks that you need to, and she was essentially breaking down what a project manager was piece by piece, and her messaging was, you're all project managers already,
right,
And I
yep.
think what, Dad, you do such a great job at is that messaging of, you already are a leader, we can help you expand and get better and improve upon, and just like not knowing that how great of a runner you are and Olympic qualifier and all of that stuff, not knowing where you're standing in terms of leadership, and being able to recognize that and help people grow and give them the resources for that.
And that's what this foundation's about. I mean,
Exactly.
it's really helpful. Thank you for being a consultant advisor with GTI, because I've learned a lot right now, and having you advise us on how to maybe be better connected to the communities.
Yeah.
Because we're all inclusive, especially giving to the ones that don't have resources and support.
Right.
And all inclusive, giving
Yeah.
scholarships to some of here in Connecticut, CT State, the whole 13 community colleges, they go to school for free. We pay for it, you and I,
Yeah.
and we want to encourage that.
Yeah.
And then give them opportunities to kind of, get scholarships to go to other schools,
Right.
and we can
Right.
help fund that. And
It's,
you
yeah.
know,
Another part of my life I haven't told you about is, in going back to my career, I haven't been real purposeful in my career. In other words, somebody taps me on the shoulder, you'd be good at that. You think so?
Yeah.
Apply. Got it. There wasn't
Yeah.
much that I like, even the whole running thing. I was in junior high school, every year you had to do a mile run for time. And I was always going to put out in anything I did, but I hated it. I was nervous
Oh my
all
God, I
day
remember those
long.
mile runs.
Like that number, to
Yeah.
put yourself out there, and the number is going to mean something, whether I'm good or bad or whatever. And I remember saying to myself in 8th grade after doing one, well, running is never something I'm going to do. And then I had a friend in the summer leading the sophomore year in high school pester me to get on the cross country team, and I didn't have anything. I entered high school at 5'2", 85 pounds.
Yeah.
Many said the skinniest kid in the school, right? So I was somewhat athletic, but I wasn't big enough for anything. And so I said, I have to have something. So running started. But I remember Dale Carnegie, which
Yep.
is not public speaking when people think. Dale Carnegie is really a confidence program. 30 Human Relation Principles, wonderful principles by Dale Carnegie. And someone came to where I was working at Yale New Haven Hospital at the time, wanted to bring the program into Yale New Haven Hospital. We didn't know much about it, me and my colleague, my partner. in the training department. They said, I'll tell you what, you can go to the program for free and experience it. We went to it, and at the very end, I declared, I'm going to be a Dale Carnegie instructor. I mean, I was so impressed with it, right?
Yeah.
But getting back to leadership, project management, people identifying things they have that maybe they don't know they don't have. The instructors would talk about breakthroughs. And Dale Carnegie's brilliance is people have such a fear of public speaking. So he built into his program, 16-week program, I think everything gets cut down now, I think it's like 8 weeks now. Actually a 12-week program back then. You learn a principle, you come back the week later, you talk 2 minutes about applying the principle. So you're in front of the group doing public speaking. And you would start with people who are looking down at the ground, very timid, explaining something. But by week 12, their arms are open, they're looking you straight in the eye, and they've got a message for you.
Yes.
And to see that confidence that the program brought, but to recognize how many people just aren't in a more fulfilling place because they just don't have confidence.
Correct.
You know, and to your point about project management, you can ask a question, well, have you ever project managed anything? And you would say no, but if you ask the question, tell me about your life, and you realize, well, wait a minute, you're managing your whole family of 3 kids.
Right.
And, you know.
Exactly. I mean, talk about, stay-at-home mom,
Yeah.
you know, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
My
So some of those
mom's-
skills are already utilized, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that is perfect because, you know, what you talked about in eighth grade, right, when you started running. And, you know, I've coached a lot of teams, I played a lot of sports and whatnot, and, you know, people are scared. They ask me, should my son or daughter, you know, play football or hockey or whatnot? And I'm like, my answer is, well, just make sure you understand the consequences. It's a contact sport. But, you know, and they say, well, they're kind of nervous. Well, you better be nervous. It's fight or flight.
Yeah.
You need to get yourself mentally ready and play 100%.
Expect that.
Go 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Because you need to, because the other person across the line, or if you're playing football or hockey or whatnot, they're going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You need to prepare yourself. So talk about that a little bit and applying it to what you know, encouraging people to kind of go out there and put yourself out there, especially public speaking.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you've got to be prepared to fail, you know, and recognize, are you on a journey or not? So obviously, if you're doing public speaking, you're scared to death. And you want to overcome that fear and feel like, yeah, that may mean something to me, overcome that fear. I mean, you got to understand that when you first start doing it, you're not going to do real well. But if you know you're commit to a journey, it's just a matter of getting better at it.
Again, don't self-limit yourself, right?
Yeah. Well, and I didn't see this connection until now. When I ran, I knew exactly the shape I was in for what I was going to run per mile. I never ran against anybody. I was running against the clock because I had a goal, right? Yeah. And runners learn real quick. If you go out too fast, you're compromising your goal, right? And the best way to run a race is an even pace, right? And so there were runners that knew me real well, always ahead of me in the first half of always ahead of me. And it just became, one guy finally said, I'm waiting for you to pass me, you know, because I kept, at second half of the race, I passed him. Why? I'm doing an even pace, he isn't. He goes out too hard. But just this idea of, it's a journey, you know, anything you take on. If you're talking public speaking, oh my God, I can't do that. If you really want it, give yourself 10 presentations.
Well,
and just try to get better.
It's the same as when you said that about the running, you're against the clock, right? So I remember the 4-minute mile they said it was impossible.
Right.
You can't do that.
Right. But
Roger Bannister beat it.
But you know what happened 2 weeks after he broke 4 minutes? 2 other people did it.
That's right.
So that psychological barrier had been broken.
That's the key.
And then it became what's possible.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, do you have any last remarks?
Well, no, I was just going to say, going back to fear and fight or flight, that I remember Mom saying she's in HR, and when I was first interviewing, like out of college and everything, and I was like, oh, I'm really nervous. She's like, sweetheart, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Being nervous means you care. Anytime I'm sitting across the table from someone that I'm interviewing and I can sense that they're a little bit nervous, I know that they want this job. They're not just sitting there, you know.
Right.
So I just thought that was pertinent.
Yeah, this is great. Well, thank you very much, Kevin, for joining us today.
Great to be here.
And please be sure to follow, share the Grow Together Initiative TV and the websites. We have a lot of social media. Please visit our website often. There's a lot of events we're working on. We appreciate some donations to help support all the things that we're talking about and so forth and so on. Again, thank you, Katherine, for joining us as well.
Of course.
And just thank you for viewing.